Alrighty, here is the Clipper radio chassis, all complete. We pulled extra caps out of here because I did not trust them to last very long. I'm not sure how long they've been in there or how much this radio has been used from that time, but I yanked out all the rest of those components except for these two right here. I believe those there are gonna be okay. The other ones just look chinky. Chinesium or whatever. They just, I don't know. I didn't trust them. So, but what I wanted to cover was, you remember I mentioned the LA6 tube and the LE3 tube, and how I wasn't getting good responses from those tubes, and I had an issue with one that I bought and then got a refund on it. Ordered some more. I got some coming in. They didn't show up today though. But I'd turn it on and test it one day, and it would be working fine for about, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes, something like that, 25 minutes. And then it would fade away and diminish. It wouldn't stop receiving the station, but it would minimize, so you'd have to turn the volume up in order to hear it. And I tell you, I pulled my hair out going through this doggone chassis and dealing with those tubes. Every time I messed with a tube, it would crackle and snap and pop. And I was thinking that it was a socket. And I really didn't want to have to replace the socket in here because, for one thing, they're almost like a unobtainium. Oh yeah, you can get them. You can get them in ceramic, and you can get them in other kinds of forms, but not like these originals. Some, you might find some, if you're lucky. I think I found a set of 4. They're like $20. So they're $5 a piece. Now, I wasn't shying away from that. I was just doggone biting my tongue because I wasn't absolutely sure that was it. But I'd take the tube out, flex the pins a little bit, snap it back in where she'd snap in pretty good, and then I would turn it on and she'd play all right for a while, and then she'd do the same thing. So, you know, I kept shelving this thing, and shelving this thing, and just thinking, well, I'll get to it. Well, today is Saturday, the 8th, and I decided to pull it off the shelf because I'm in a spot right now with the 6325 that I got a little breathing room, and I figured, well, it's a good time right now to deal with this thing and see about getting it back wrapped up. Well, I put it up on the bench and I hooked it all up with the doggone patch cords and everything, got the antenna put in, checked the doggone tubes, make sure they were all seated in, plugged it in, turned it on, and she worked good. Great. Wasn't getting very good reception on shortwave, but it was there anyway. It was like at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, somewhere around in there, and it just wasn't coming in very good. And then about 20 minutes later, it decided to doggone go south again. So I thought, okay, well, we're gonna take a stick to this doggone thing and we're gonna shove it everywhere and see if there's anything that's gonna give me a clue. Well, when I picked it up and I went to flex it to turn it over, the frame kind of flexed a little bit, and she crackled and popped. And I thought, well, I don't remember doing it that way before, but what I decided was I'd take my poker, wherever it's at, and start prodding in here. And when you know it, that resistor right there was cracked right on the end. That's the resistor that went right in there. And it tied into this conglomeration here. That is on the grid of the LA6. So I replaced it, and it working fine. After all that, worrying about the tubes, worrying about the wires, worrying about the capacitors, worrying about this. You see what I mean about resistors? I said that about the resistors in the prior video for the Silvertone. Most of those resistors were way up, but this one here, it must have been cracked from flexing in the chassis, twisting it, because that's pretty stout right there, that connection, and that lead going down into there to that lug on that pin 6. Well, it works. So I'm fitting it up to the cabinet right now, and I figured what I'd do before doing that is I'd get a video together of what the heck I went through with this thing. Again, if that bomber so much as even looks cross-eyed at me, man, I'm taking a brick to it. So anyway, let me get this thing sorted out here, and we'll be back. Alrighty, here we are. I got it back together, closed up. I mean, it was, you know, when you got this thing reskinned and all the holes filled and strengthened, and you go to put this stuff back in, it's like you need a big shoehorn in order to get everything to go back in its spot. So there's a couple of little things got to take care of on it, and it'll be complete. We got the, let's see if we can do this without doing too much toil. We got it all back in. Let's open this up. We got new sticker, blank sticker. So anybody who ever winds up with this thing is going to proudly put their name on it. I believe the old one had a name on it at one time. Well, before we went and stripped it off. But I managed to eke out a copy, a photocopy of it, and then I got it transferred into a graphics program and punched it up and made a raw file for it. Now I can make multitudes of these and of the one inside, the patent notice and the mini tube layout chart and the specifications on the radio. We got the wave magnet loop back in it, fitted up so that it fits properly now, so that you can fasten it in, lock it in. These suckers here, the stompers. You're going to have to orient these so that they lay in this orientation instead of that orientation because of that hot little sucker. It'll melt it. Got the wave rod remounted. I have to do a little slight relocation of it because it doesn't quite come up to 90 degrees. It does this in this plane, but not in this plane. It's slightly out, so I got to relocate it slightly more, a little more. So that means a fix. Got everything fitted back in there, all right. And as soon as we get a chance, we're gonna do a video of it. Let's see if I can get this thing closed. Let's see, what do we got here? Let me put this down and close this. Darn, brand new radio and it fits tight, I'll tell you. Not like before. Okay, now the front. She's all there. I believe the owner is going to put a operating chart in here, a log chart, and whatever, like the bomber has. The bomber has one in it. I believe it was the bomber that had it in it. If not, I got to get it and put it into this one, and he can put the one he's got into the bomber. This has been a tussle, let me tell you. This is the boat, the grill cover that he sent me, in place of the other one that was had pull threads in it. It's got a new dial cover. As a matter of fact, both of them are going to get new dial covers, and the buttons have all been dressed and polished and protected. So tomorrow we'll try to get a operation video of this thing and get it checked out. I have a few things I got to take care of, and we'll do that. So stay tuned. The final is coming.